What's going on, y'all? This is Greg. Greg said it. This is like the wildlife episode here. Like outside in the wild is wonderful. It's raining. Kind of feel like we back in the fall. I got a fall feel in the spring. It's supposed to be kind of transition to the summer. We got a little chill too. It's been raining a lot out here in hot Atlanta. I'll take it while we get it. You know the hot is coming. We don't have a taste of it. But I say the last couple of years we've had some late summers. And like I said, I won't complain. But y'all, I did a video the other day. I don't know, it was inspiration, motivation. I mentioned one of the things, and I did a little clip basically. It was inside the video, did like a short, and it was talking about how, everything's going on with Shador. It's like people could forget about Colorado. Some people, because really, you think about it, the last couple years, Shador has been a big part of Colorado. I mean, his storyline well off. It had a lot to do with him and Travis Hunter and the cast around him that came from Jackson State. So it makes sense that a lot of people are connected to Shador. And when you think about content, you should look at him. He's still doing it in the NFL. But it's like when he left, Travis left, these are the headliners. A lot of people kind of felt like, whew. And I did videos about like, oh, Colorado has lost it. They lost their main players, even though they want to give him credit when it was there, especially Shador. It's like, oh, he's gone. Colorado's lost it. His dad can't coach nobody else. Ooh. So they already was kind of like looking over him. Then with this whole draft situation, it was going to happen anyway. If he had went first round, it's going to happen anyway. But the fact that he didn't and he went fifth round and this whole circus around that, it's like, oh, shucks. We've been really watching that, watching Cleveland. He ended up in Cleveland, watching that old fiasco there. And we can't get no weirder situation than fourth. Now they say 5 quarterbacks, and he was like the last one. And the lowest ranked one technically. And it's like a lot of people forget about Colorado and what they were doing before all of this. The recruiting they were doing, yeah, they lost a couple players, but they had some good recruiting going on. They've been working on the main area. And now when I say it's the main area for the last couple years, really, because first year they couldn't do much about it, and that's them trenches. After that first year, about even Coach Prime, even before halfway through the season, like, we need some trenches. And they upgraded that some last year. And then this year, man, while we watching Shador, they've been loading up this whole offseason. It's like, okay, they good, and they keep going. Like, oh, y'all get more? Oh, y'all get more? They got so many old linemen this year. Now, some of them don't have experience, but a lot of them do. And there's only so many can start. And I know I always be the first one to say, it don't matter who started, who finished, and all that. And it's a long season. Injuries do happen. We saw that. But to have quality depth is a major thing when you're trying to play big boy ball. Keeping them fresh, keeping them healthy, injuries, all that good stuff. And they got the coaching, with the experience and all of that. But to have the players in the trenches is important. Let me tell you why. You brought in one of the most mobile quarterbacks that's out right now. Yeah, he came from lower conference or whatever, but his numbers were ridiculous when he was healthy and when he had players around him and when they block him. When you block for this boy, you really create a bad situation for yourself. Well, I'm talking about the defense who's playing them. They block. It's bad for the defense because he could do so much with his legs if you create lanes, but he's also accurate as a passer, especially with deep ball. Now, we can't compare him to the accuracy of Shador. Who can we? Really, they say he was the record holder. I mean, he's one of the best in history when it comes to his accuracy percentages. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he protected the ball. He could have been even better because I feel like he gave the interceptions he had away, and some of them were just fluke plays, especially the year before. But when you look at what he did, people say he threw little short passes, little dink and dunk, hitches and all that stuff, screen passes. But we got plenty of film showing Shador just tearing you up down the field when he had time. And that comes to what we'll be seeing in Cleveland if they get him an opportunity there. Because if he has a line, it's a whole other ball game. And when you look at, if it's not Juju, we know what Juju can do as well. But if we consider what Salter's doing, I mean, at the end of the day, but if you give Salter the room to throw the ball, that dual component can be dangerous, especially with the receivers that he have. I mean, what can you do at this point? But just kind of have to spread yourself kind of thin. You can't really key in on them like you should do. If we take away the passing game, we good. When you say passing game, you really was talking about Travis And then you saw Jimmy came in. That's what made him so dangerous, because Jimmy kind of stepped up. DeJounte brought in another element. And that's what really made a difference, because even though you knew they were passing, you still had to stop them. So you only could hope that you can get the pressure on Shador. And they did a little better on that. So when you have a much better line, it really makes it hard to key in, honestly. And when you have a more balanced team, it makes it even harder. So at the end of the day, this line is going to be critical. If it turns out to be anywhere near as productive and efficient as we think it could be, Colorado is even more so a dangerous team. I mean, because you're going to underestimate them. Let's be real. You're going to say, who they have on their team? What names do you have? What Heisman candidates there? At least you said they had Travis before. They snubbed Shador, but, you had Travis. So at the end of the day, you say, well, who do they have to make them a contender of any something? How many All-Americans they have? How many All-Conference do they have? Because you got a lot of no-name guys. So when you typically don't have those type of guys on your team, even though they tried Colorado last year with so many, I kept saying at the beginning of the season, how do you have so many All-Americans, All-Conference guys on the team, and y'all put them at the bottom of the pack? That don't make no sense. But it would be more realistic to try it now, because you can at least try to justify it. Last year, you've just been a fool. But you really can justify it saying, hey, who do they have? Okay, Jordan Seaton. Who else they have? Okay, because some of those guys coming over from, they wasn't like, all conference All-American on the line, even though they have experience, and some don't. So you said, who do they have? Okay, the quarterback came from Liberty. You can kind of play that down. Even if they played a freshman, you say he's a freshman who's really supposed to be in high school. You can say all those different things. Defense. Who the big names? Who this? Okay, McKinney, okay. Safeties, got a bunch of new guys coming from different places, or people just getting the opportunity. But they're solid, and it has more depth, and it has more, range. It's more even across the field, I would say. The positions are complete because you have more solid players. It's not just one-sided. It's not just, your skilled players are strong, but your trenches is weak, So that's what I mean by more balance. Also, more balance because they don't have a big name. You can't really play like the whole, I'm going to stop this guy to end the team. Because it's going to be less likely the case because there's no hero. There's no guy that they know going to have to put the ball in their hand. At least not starting out. I think ultimately quarterback would be that guy. But, how long would it take you to figure that out? Even though they dogged Shador out, you got to think about it. They knew who was going to be having that ball, and they knew who they had to stop. No matter how they try to say he won this, he won that, they knew they had to watch him. He was the distributor. He was the one who got Travis Hunter the ball like he did to be the top receiver in the country, really. He's an athlete, but somebody had to give him the ball. Somebody had to put that ball up for him to get it. And somebody had to put DeJounte in that position. Somebody had to put Jimmy. You had Will Shepard out there. You had so many weapons. The younger guys were coming back this year. Who was the one getting them the ball? So imagine if he had a line. That's the key. Salter is going to have the line. He's going to have more pieces in depth than Shador ever had. In quality. And then you also look at the defensive line and what that has turned into. I think at the very least, your defensive line should produce what they did last year, which was solid. The defensive line was solid. It's just the depth towards the middle to end, the injuries and stuff like that came back. And, of course, the linebacker depth was an issue. So, outside of that, which is a whole nother conversation, Colorado is looking like a team that can live up to not the hype, but the potential. Because of the fact that they went really hard. They went in overkill mode when it come to getting players for them trenches, especially on the offensive side. So any deficit that you feel they have, they made up for it because they really leveled up there. Well, I don't think people have been paying attention. And, most people are fair weather fans anyway, so they're not paying attention. But that's a big deal for Colorado because that's really something that really held them back. Because even with the first year, the skill position was always pretty strong. So when you look at it, if they had a line and had time to get the ball to Xavier Weaver the first year, and Jimmy was out there and Travis was out there, it would have been a problem. Never been the skill. So the fact that they're getting heavy in the trenches is scary because they've never been weak in the skill. They're not weak in the skill this year. You talk about Travis going, Jimmy going. They got some very talented young receivers who are either freshmen, transfer in over there last year. They got a lot of talent. Probably even more options this year. And if they have a chance to get that ball, or you don't really know where they coming from with it, you don't really know, okay, well, shoot, we can't just focus on this one guy, he gonna get the ball. When you got these variety of sizes you got tall receivers this year, you have tall tight ends, big tight ends. You really have more weapons, y'all. But we gonna see. It's easier said than done. But, we're talking about the real backup, within the next couple of weeks, they're gonna be back out there. We're gonna get to see them, I don't know what I was gonna look, but we're gonna get to see what they're doing out there versus, theoretically playing together when these guys get there all in the summer. And that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting juggling both, because I know that thing gonna heat up with Shador as well. But y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, join us on this journey this year. Greg said it. I'll talk to y'all. Y'all have a good one.